Hey everybody, glad you're with us for this week's show. You see all those cars in that parking lot? Those people are getting ready to do something very important, and I'll explain what that is coming up in just a moment. On this week's episode, we're going to be taking you to one of the best crappie fishing lakes I've ever been to in my life. You're in for a lot of fun in the next half hour. Come on along because Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air right now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Hi everybody, we're coming to you today from Vicksburg, Mississippi, and just beyond that sign is the Vicksburg National Military Park. It's the site of one of the most important battles in the entire Civil War back in 1863. Both President Davis of the Confederacy and President Abraham Lincoln of the Union believed that control of the Mississippi River that's just over that hill was critical to the success of the entire Civil War. I've toured that site twice, and I believe every American should do that. But today, we've come not to visit the battlefield, but to bring the Nitro Z19 and experience some of America's greatest crappie fishing, because you see, some of the biggest crappie in the country grow in the state of Mississippi, most of them in a 5-lake corridor that run up and down I-55 north of Vicksburg. And today we experience the first of those, the southernmost. It's called Eagle Lake. Eagle Lake is a 4,700 surface acre cut off oxbow lake off the Mississippi River, and we'll be joined today by Brad Chappell, who guides on this lake and several others here in Mississippi. He's also a professional tournament crappie angler. While we're out doing that, we're taking you around the region for your local fishing reports this week from our expert team of insider reporters. Right now, the Z19 gets headed towards Eagle Lake. We get it started back at the FSN studios with your weekend planner.
The Salooner tables are predicting excellent game fishing conditions for Saturday and fair conditions on Sunday. Saturday's peak times are forecast to begin at 3:01 a.m. and 3:32 p.m. Look for the sun to rise at 6:22 and set at 8:27. And we have a new moon this week, so weekend evenings will be mostly void of moonlight. Stay with us for freshwater and coastal fishing information from around the region. Plus, I'll be back with this week's Ask the Pro question in just a bit. We're coming right back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than a boat, it's a tracker. Mercury Marine, go boldly. Lowrance Electronics, celebrating 60 years of fish finding excellence. Find, navigate, dominate. And Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there.
And here is a Mississippi crappie for you. Look at that dude. Oh man. You got one?
Yeah, I believe so.
All right, we got a fish on. Brad Chappell here with us. We've made it out in the boat, and here comes one skiing across the surface right there. There we go. Got him right there. All right, there's one in the boat. So we've made it out with Brad Chappell, who guides for the biggest crappie in America live in the state that we're in right now. We are in Mississippi, and there's another one right here. Let me get, Brad, take, here, I'll get that.
You get this?
You get that one.
There you go.
Hold on, and I'll get this one. We've actually got doubles going now. And so the biggest crappie anywhere in the state, or in any of the states, live in Mississippi, and we're on Eagle Lake. So Brad, we were just talking about this. Why do your crappie grow bigger than everybody else's crappie?
It has to be the dirt, just the nutrients in the soil. We have great shad populations, high protein, grows high quality fish.
Got three. Here's a third one. Holy cow, we're gonna have 3 crappie laying in the bottom of the boat right off the bat here. As soon as I can get this one in.
There's a big one here.
Oh, that one got off. He's swimming away, but this is a big one.
Yeah, I've got a big one on.
Now you just have to ski them across the top when you're long lining like this. You don't slow down when you get one.
I do not. Never stop the boat. Keep them right on top of the surface.
Oh, look at that one. All right, look at this, folks. I'm gonna keep the boat going here so we don't lose our bearing. And here is a Mississippi crappie for you. Look at that dude. Oh man. Well, we had 3 in a row. Bam, bam, bam. So what happened just then? Did we pull across a school of crappie?
Exactly. I mean, we come to a little spot, and these fish are actively feeding in little isolated areas.
Got Brad Chappell in the boat with us and off to a great start, and you're off to a good start where you live with some fishing in Lake LaForest.
While we continue to deal with challenging conditions at many lakes across the state due to high water, we still have lots of lakes that have great access and great fishing at this time. A good example continues to be Lake Eufaula. Terry Engel and George Tolson had a wonderful recent outing there, and what they were doing was tossing Bobby Garland baby shad swimmers in glacier color rigged on a 1/16-ounce jig head, tossing it up 2 to 4 foot of water, letting that jig sit on the bottom, shaking a little bit and catching both pre and post spawn crappie there. And that makes a lot of sense to me because what they're basically doing is fishing around what was the shoreline before the water has come up on Lake Eufaula. And that's a good place to attract those fish that are coming in and moving up from the banks. And then also Tim and Timmy Williams say that they are continuing to catch good numbers and good fish at Lake Kanawha. The guys are bass fishing, throwing a Cinco style bait, black and blue colors around the grass lines in 2 to 4 foot of water, and good fishing at Kanawha. And then also a group of college anglers made a recent afternoon outing to Lake Okmulgee. They found the water level there to be at a good level for a variety of fishing. Most of the guys still concentrated on the grass lines around the lake. Their best success came on topwater floating frog type baits, some good action at Lake Okmulgee at this time. All those guys had one thing in common. They said you can't catch them if you don't go.
Brad, as far as the times of year, sometimes they'll be up here in this 3 to 6 foot water, but sometimes they're going to be in that deeper channel over there too, right?
Summer and winter time, they're going to be in the deep water and just sitting there gorging on shad, getting big.
Here's one right here, Brad. He's got it. He's got
yeah.
it. He's got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. All right. Boy, that's a hard pull. There he is, way back there. Man, it's amazing to me what the average size of these fish is over here. Anywhere else in the country, you know, these would be the big ones. Here, this size right here is just the average size you catch. Now, Brad, what's the length limit and the bag limit?
11-inch is the length limit, and we can keep 30 fish per person.
Wow, so that's a pretty liberal limit right there.
Oh, definitely so.
And that's just your average size. All right, stay with us. We're coming back to the great crappie fishing Magnolia State of Mississippi right after this. Y'all don't go anywhere. Show them that one more time. Look at this. Get in that net. Get in that net, you big toad. Hey everybody, we're out on Eagle Lake, just outside Vicksburg, Mississippi today, doing some long line trolling with Brad Chappell. Fishing guide on several of these great crappie lakes they have in Mississippi here. You can't find better crappie fishing than they have in Mississippi. There's a bite right there.
Oh, good.
Is it fish?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You got it, okay. That's another decent quality fish right there. Let me see if I can slide in here and keep him out of that other rod. So what I'm gonna try to do is do this and that. And look what I did. I kept it from getting tangled up in the other rod. All right, we've got another crappie on. There's just another good solid black looking slab from Mississippi. Got Brad Chappell with us. Brad is a professional crappie guide and a professional crappie fisherman. He fishes crappie tournaments. And crappie fishing for these guys is not sitting there with one pole and a minnow waiting for a bobber to go down. This is high-tech gear, high-tech thinking, and covering a lot of water.
Exactly. I mean, we rely a lot on our electronics. Of course, my Lowrance is a big key for me on finding fish.
I want to show you real quickly on my Lowrance HDS up here on the front. You can see in the left-hand side there, we're trying to stay about 1.2, 1.3 miles an hour, and I've got my Motor Guide XI5 trolling motor on heading lock, which keeps me going the same direction regardless of the current, the wind, and I wouldn't attempt this, nor would anybody else, without having this kind of gear. You need the good electronics, the good trolling motor, in order to keep your speed and your direction going. Well, we're catching them, and again, some are big.
I've got another.
He got another one, so we're going to be fighting that one in. I'm going to put this one in the live well real quick, and here comes Brad with another one in right here. Oh yeah, this is a good one. This is a better fish here. Right in that net he goes. All right. Hey, how about if I'm just your net man, Brad? Would that work?
Hey,
Look at
keep
that.
it up.
Look at that. How about that for a Mississippi slab for you? And you can see right there, he's got that Bobby Garland Moglow jig head, and that's a Strolar bait, right? We'll show you the baits and the equipment at the end of the show. Well, we're off to a good start. Got fish working. We've explained to you a little bit about the long lining technique. We'll talk more about it. Talk more about Eagle Lake. Right now, it's fishing reports for you.
Hi folks, this week's Lone Star Lakes is brought to you once again by Ulrich Cabins. The folks at Ulrich Cabins are Texas-based. It's a family-owned company, and they stand ready to build a cabin for you to relax, dream, and enjoy in. Whether you need a fishing lodge or a hunting property, they are ready to get you the cabin of your dreams. Check out mytexascabin.com for your Lone Star Lakes viewer-only discounts, and it doesn't matter if it's your design or theirs, they're ready to help you today. Now we're going to start in East Texas at Lake of the Pines, where the bass bite and the crappie bite are both on fire right now. Start with crappie off Main Lake Points over brush or the bridge pilings. When you fish the bridges, be sure and check those H bars that connect the pilings and support them beneath the water's surface. You'll drop your jigs or your minnows right down along that crossbar and you'll catch plenty of crappie, or fish those Main Lake brush piles with the same baits. Now for bass, it's a post-spawn pattern. The fish are still shallow, 10 feet or less, but you'll be looking out a little deeper, off the breaks, and around those first pieces of structure like your creek channels or ditches, anything near a spawning flat where a bass can rest and feed. Use your moving baits, top waters in the morning, then try your swim baits and chatter baits on those fish. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Ulrich Cabins, mytexascabin.com for your discounts. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. You'll find him on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island, the fishing capital of Texas, where anglers enjoy pristine bays, estuaries, 18 miles of surf, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Plus the local restaurants will even cook your catch come sundown. Come fish and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit portaransas.org. Well, Memorial Day weekend is upon us. That means there's going to be plenty of competition for space on the water. If the winds persist, then hide early and late to avoid the crowds. Marsh or back lake areas, protected stretches of the Intercoastal Waterway, behind barrier islands, and smaller satellite bays are good options to beat the wind. Now, when fishing off-colored conditions, go to a larger popping cork or mauler type float and darker color baits to create a better contrast for fish to see. Late in the afternoon and into the twilight hours of evening usually sees the wind lay and the crowds depart to recover from the daytime activities. This is a great time to have the water to yourself. With the increased boating traffic, be sure and always wear a PFD and have the operator tethered to the kill switch. This weekend, Saturday's a 3-tide day with 2 high tides and just 1 low. This Sunday has a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides. Memorial Day Monday has a single tide schedule of 1 high and 1 low tide. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Luz, fueled by passion, driven by innovation. Feel the difference. Jean LaRue Bass Baits and Bobby Garland Crappie Baits, the leaders in soft plastic lures innovation. And Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
There you go. There's 2 good Mississippi crappie for you right there. Got bit? Yeah. Got bit?
Got him.
All right. We got a fish on. Hey everybody, glad to have you along with us. Welcome back. Here he comes in already. We are crappie fishing today in the great state of Mississippi. Look at this. And we are catching these. Look at this. Look at this. That's the kind you catch when you come to Mississippi, especially when you're fishing with Brad Chappell, who owns these fish, man. He is dialed in on them. Brad, oh, here's another one too. Let me get this one. You get that one, I'll get this one. We'll get doubles. All right. Brad, while I'm fighting this fish, we're trolling for these fish, and this is real speed critical. We're doing this at 1.2, 1.3 miles an hour. And you're actually fishing for active fish. What's the deal with that? You said you think you could see them come up and get it if you were in a drone.
Yeah, definitely. It would be one of my exciting things to do is get a drone out here and to see these fish actually hit these baits. We're pulling them so fast that they're right up underneath the surface, these jigs are, and they're just coming up and annihilating them.
And you think the fish are laying down below looking up at those jigs going across fast, and you're catching the ones that are actively feeding.
Yeah, we're looking for that reaction strike.
That's a double for you right there. So pick yours up there and let's show these two fish. Oh, easy there, buddy. There you go. There's two good Mississippi crappie for you right there. Man, what a lot of fun. And two more big old Mississippi crappie here at Eagle Lake, just outside Vicksburg, Mississippi. What a great place. Thank you, Brad. We appreciate it.
Man,
we'll be right back, but right now let's get you some fishing and lake reports.
Hey friends, Cajun Phil here with the Fox Sports Southwest Fishing Report from Louisiana. I tell you what, friends, right now, I'd say for the last 10 days, all of our guys here at the Cajun Paradise Lodge and Charter have been coming in with limits of redfish each and every day. Yeah, we got some bonus fish, but I tell you what, redfish is the secret right now. It's on fire, and I love it when our customers come in and say that was the most awesome day I've ever spent in my life on the water. But you know what? It's not just here on Calcasieu Lake. All across Louisiana right now, we're getting good reports. Delacroix, Hopedale, Shell Beach, Venice, down there in Venice, they're catching redfish inshore. Offshore, they're catching lots of yellowfin tuna, black tuna. I'll tell you what, they're catching wahoo, just about anything. One of our local guys, John Soche, went out of Cameron the other day. He came in with about 18 different species of fish going offshore. Yeah, they went about 100 miles offshore, but they caught a lot of fish. So saltwater fishing, it's on fire. As far as the freshwater scene goes, this week I was very proud. An angler caught I think it was 12.5, in other words, about a 12 and a half pound bass out of Lacassine Reserve. Caught it, had his friend film it, and they released the fish. Boy, I tell you what, I love to hear stories like that. The brim is still a big store all across the state. No matter where you go, you're going to catch bluegill, chickenfish, goggle eye. Till next week, this is Old Cajun Phil for Captain Kevin. Then happy fishing. May God bless it. We're going to see you folks next week.
Be sure to join Fox Sports Outdoors again next week, Thursday at 5:30, or catch the repeat airing Saturday morning at 8. And you can always watch the latest episode in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Plus, catch up on all past episodes by clicking the archive button. And see lots of our how-to and product videos by selecting the how-to button. Join our online fishing community. Just click the like button on our Facebook page for access to daily posts with lots of fishing news, videos, and frequent giveaways. And stay up to date with all the latest fishing information and photos by following our Twitter feed. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Motor Guide, because accuracy matters. And Excite Technologies, powering the world forward.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro segment, where viewers get expert insights from professional insiders. This week's question comes from Cliff, who asks, any tips for getting back in the boat after falling out when fishing alone? For the answer, we checked with Rick Emmett, marketing manager for Nitro Boats.
If you should fall in the water by yourself, it is pretty difficult to get back in the boat. The Nitro boats are equipped with a reboarding ladder in the back, which makes getting back in the boat considerably easier. If you don't have a boarding ladder in the back of the boat, probably the easiest thing to do is use the motor to help you get back in. You can put your feet on the anti-ventilation plate on the motor, use the power trim switch to trim the motor up, and this should let you get back in the boat.
Thank you, Rick. If you have something to ask one of the pros, simply visit our website and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit your question. Now it's time to give away a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
It's time right now for somebody to win a free pair of Costa sunglasses in the Costa Catch of the Week contest. And here is this week's winner. He's Ryan Bergman of Denison, Texas, showing off an 83-pound blue catfish he caught at Choctaw Creek in Texas. If you'd like a chance to be our next winner, just go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, click in the Costa Catch of the Week area on the right side of the front page, and follow the instructions to enter your big fish photo. If you'd like to see all of the Costa frame and lens styles, go back to our homepage and click on the Costa logo. You can see all of the 580 polycarbonate and glass lenses in the various colors, all the different frame styles, including the frame style I was wearing on this week's episode. I like this one. It's called Raphael. If you're going to do some of the long lining like we did on this week's episode, you'll need some highly specialized gear. First, you'll need a good rod holder that holds 4, 6, or up to 8 rods, maybe even more. This is a Be Ready rod holder. You'll need long poles. This is the Lew's Wally Marshall Signature Series rod. And also I use the Troll Tech series rods, all by Lew's. This is the Mr. Crappie Slab Daddy reel. You need to be able to hold a lot of line to get it a long ways behind the boat. Now the bait that we were trolling is a Bobby Garland bait. That's a 1/32 ounce Mo-Glo jig head by Bobby Garland, and the body is a Stroll R. And this particular color is a bluegill fire color. It's a dark color. Some days they like dark, some days they like a lighter color. And just over my right shoulder is the Motor Guide XI5 trolling motor. You control it with the remote control that you saw me with it hanging around my neck. You can do all kinds of things with it. Set a heading, set a speed, control your direction, everything from anywhere in the boat. You need that to be able to do this successfully. There was a story a while back in the USA Today about some sheep herders over in a little town called Jeeves in the eastern side of Turkey. They stepped away for breakfast one morning, left 1,500 sheep unattended. One of those sheep walked right over to the edge of a cliff and walked right off to its death. And to the shepherd's horror, 1,500 more sheep followed and walked right off the cliff. Now, about 450 of those sheep died. The rest were cushioned on impact. But the point is, sheep are not the smartest animal that God ever created. But yet in the Bible, people are compared to sheep. We are a herd mentality. People want to fit in. They want to be like everybody else. They don't want to stand out. But here's the lesson. You and I do need to stand out. We don't need to make decisions and do things just because everybody else is doing them, just because it's the easy way, just because it's the default mode. Many times, the more difficult path, the more difficult choice, the way that is not like everybody else is the correct choice and the one that works out the very best. I had a blast today on my first ever visit to Eagle Lake in Mississippi. If you'd like to book a guide trip, not only here at Eagle Lake, but up at Lake Washington or Grenada or Sardis or Enid or any of the other lakes where all these giant crappie live up and down the entire western side of Mississippi, you can do that by calling Brad Chappell at the contact information you see right there on your screen. You ought to come experience this at least one time. These crappie are the biggest in America. They are a blast to fish for and catch. Thanks for joining us from Eagle Lake, Mississippi, north of Vicksburg. Until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.